All right, so the story is as follows. I am providing a training for 10 days to Maven right now. And I was at the airport yesterday in the evening, flying to London, and I contacted Antoni. And contacted Antoni, I said, I will be here. Do you want to meet for some maybe beer or food and talk? But he said, well, but we tomorrow have a C+ London. Are you going to join us? I said, well, okay, I will be here. So we were about to meet here, and I'm here. It turns out that my plane was late like an hour. Then I waited like 2 hours for a baggage on Luton Airport. So I arrived to my hotel at 2 a.m. because the underground doesn't work anymore at this point. I went up for the training in the morning. At 3 p.m., I got an email from Phil stating that I just found out that you registered for the meetup. Would you like to present something here? 3 p.m. today, right? I'm in the middle of the workshop, still 2 hours left to go, and there was also point 2. And by the way, your library doesn't work with Clang 15. I fixed the library during the break on the workshop. After the workshop, I started to work on the talk today because actually I planned to talk about Gitpod for a longer time on the conference, even on CP plus CPC, right? We were agreeing to have this talk, but it didn't, so it's now. And yes, so today I would like to talk about Gitpod a bit. And I don't know if you know what's a Gitpod. Gitpod is an open source, or maybe it's supporting open source, but it's the environment for development. It has support for open source for free. So if you want to support stuff like open source projects, it's good to put such a button on your projects. Open in Gitpod. Why it's there? My library, maybe you are aware of this, physical units library for C++, uses C++20. Maybe right now it's not that big challenge, but 2 years ago, when I asked contributors or other guys to try it, they say, we cannot afford installing C++20 compiler on our computers, right? Even right now, it's not that easy. Even if you do, I have another question. We don't know how to run Conan because we never did, right? And also, I sometimes ask people in pull reviews, all right, but could you please write a documentation for your feature? Because we care a lot about having a good docs for every feature for entire framework. And people say, we don't know about the docs, we don't know how to install things, how to run it, how to configure it, and so on. So Gitpod is there to help you. Gitpod basically runs the environment for you, runs the Docker image, and then you can spawn jobs. I will show you this in a second. That basically allows you to enter ready-to-use environment. It's not only for the latest version like here, but also if I go to any like pull requests, the latest one, for example, there is also automatically from by Gitpod.io button open in Gitpod. So you can go to pull request right away and start hacking stuff. So start reviewing things. If you don't like how this looks in GitHub, you can just open Visual Studio Code in browser and start to play with this with this pull request, or maybe test it if it's implemented correctly, right? Because you can easily compile this stuff and run and verify easier than just storing in the code in the browser. I find it really useful, right? So what it does in my library right now. I have this in the contribution. So I don't have any slides, sorry, because actually I broke my Docker image coming here. And I just learned when I arrived. So I just spent some time to fix it. So I don't have any slides, but I will show you what we have here in contributing, Gitpod. All supported compilers for Linux development are there. GCC 10, 11, 12, and Clang 13, 14, 15. I just removed 12 because the 12 was the source of the issue, as it turns out. We also have the latest CMake and the latest Conan. All of the con dependencies being pre-installed for you. All of the documentation generation tools ready to use. Completed pre-builds for all targets. Debug release builds for each of those compilers and also for documentation. When you end up when you are entering the Gitpod, you should see like all of the terminals being open, stating that the work is done, and you just saved like 1 hour of your time. waiting for that. Probably right now it will not happen because it still builds, because I pushed a commit like 15 minutes ago, so it still builds. We'll see that, but this is what typically is there. And VS Code pre-configured to benefit from all of the above. So we can provide like VS Code initial configuration, and you can provide like CMake presets and other things to just open this easily. Everything is there for you, and you just click this one button. I will open this in a new browser, and this is what it does. It says that still pre-build is being done. As you see, all of those tasks are being built. I will just skip it for now because it will be ready like in an hour from now, probably, or maybe half an hour, but we don't have time to wait. So it just pulling the container image from the Docker. I'm using the latest, the unstable version of the Visual Studio Code editor because I want to benefit from the latest support for CMake presets version, I think 4.0, that allows you to include another CMake files inside. This is what our latest Conan uses for CMake integration. It takes a moment to pull the container image, and it should be right there, opening workspace. Right. So here we have some generic Python job that was run with Conan. We have GCC 10, 11, 12, Clang 13, 14, 15, and documentation being run for you right now. Right? It's still being, GCC 10 is built, it seems. Right. 11 also is done. So as you can see, everything is already pre-built nearly. Probably still something is still building somewhere because it says that we have to wait. Yeah, for example, this one is documentation is still working, installing dependencies. All right, but with that, you're in the familiar environment that you probably should be aware of. If you're using Visual Studio Code, you have editor in the browser, the version that you wanted to develop, because you can take either the mainline or on the branch or pull request is here. Yeah, and that's ready to use with all of the dependencies. You just click build and select the configuration in this case, and just use it. So I think it's great. It works for me. It helped a lot of contributors to actually contribute to this library. It makes the setup of the environment much easier for everyone. I also use it on my workshops, like 5 days workshop. People don't have to set up the environment, and it's just ready for you. If they know Visual Studio Code, they can start right away with anything. So this is something I wanted to share with you. I think you may find it interesting. If you're looking for the latest knowledge how to run Conan or CMake, you can check it here. I always try to be on the top of the technology, what's there, because Conan 2.0 is coming quickly and will be awesome. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to share. It's a short presentation. As I said, I just started to work on this an hour ago or two, but I intend actually to provide a talk for a longer time about this, because I think it's really nice. For the open source, I think you have like 40 hours per week. I think it's a lot. So assuming this open source and you're not doing this for a living. So for all of the projects, every contributor should have enough time to contribute. 50? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if it's 50, it's even better, right? I would love to have contributors that spend 50 hours contributing to my source code. Please, if you have 50 hours to do so, you're welcome, right? Yep.
What does it have on hardware? Well, what's with hardware? And you mentioned 50 hours. What's the payment thingy?
For open source, for 50 hours per week, is for free.
And the like limit any reasonable like it requires whatever crazy amount of gigabytes to compile and things like that. Like what's with RAM and things like that.
I don't think then there is any price for open source unless you are in this 50 hours limit for a week of work. So it's for free for everyone to use. All of my students just joined it, never had to do anything else than just had an account on GitHub to clone the repository and work on it. So there's no price connected. Of course, if you have the private project or work more than 50 hours per week, there is some pricing scheme. I even don't know what it is because I'm not interested in that. I'm using this mostly for contributors to my library. And as I said, probably contributions, people do like 1 hour, maybe 2 hours a week. This is
50 hours, is it per project or per contributor?
Per contributor.
That's really,
that's a lot.
Yes, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I can see that you can open this in like a web view, basically. Is there any way to open like a Gitpod instance inside the desktop app? Because the web instance doesn't have some features, like some of the F keys don't work, It's a slightly different environment.
Yeah, I think if you click here, you have something like open, in VS Code.
Oh,
here.
That's nice.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. But then you are having SSH connection, which may slow things a bit more. Yeah. But then you're working with your local instance of VS Code. I found it really useful. I just wanted to share it with you.
I've been using this for a while. Actually, the community, sorry if anyone's interesting, the community is really good. Like if they have a Discord, I don't remember what it is, but if you go there, if you have a company and want to use this, you can talk to them and like they're very good in interacting. So if you want to say, I'm a big company, I want, big machines and I want AWS of this thing, they'll probably accommodate you. So it's good to know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really positive about it. I was approached by Microsoft guys on CppCon about the VS Code, but it seems VS Code is not that friendly for contributors for open source. You have to pay for that, if I'm aware of, but I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, please prove me that I'm wrong because I'm interested in that as well. But for open source, I think it's the best solution. It works great for me, and I can just recommend it to everyone.
So in VS Code, I managed to open it once. You can open it for free at least, but I couldn't make it do anything.
Yeah, I mean like code spaces, right, from Microsoft.
Yeah. So you press Control plus dot, I think. You can try Control plus dot, and maybe it will open the repository. Maybe it won't.
Okay, I will try. But I think that they are charging some money even for open source and also for contributors. But I didn't check it for a while, so maybe something changed in the licensing terms.
Sorry, I missed the first part. The Unix library, was that?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
The Unix library that you were showing?
Yes.
Was that your contribution? Is that?
Yeah, the Unix library. If you're interested, we can talk about it by the beer entire evening.
Yeah. This will go
with me because you will be stuck here for at least 2 hours.
This is going to be in C++ 23, right?
Not 23 for sure. Maybe 26, but my ultimate goal is not to end up in the standard. My ultimate goal is to provide the best physical Unix library out there, and if it will be successful, then possibly standardize it. But the library is being developed in the let's say mind or with the intention to be standardized. So that's why I am using the latest versions of the language. I'm not looking for broad like for the broad user base with C++ 11 support, right? It's C++ 20 right now. Possibly it may switch to C++ 23 or 26 if there will be features needed. Of course, I will try to provide backward compatibility, but if not, then I will have to say sorry for everyone users because this library is meant to be the part of the standard, maybe in the future. And if it will be, we better have the modern library using the latest things that will make things user-friendly and easy to use, rather than having broad or old compatibility with old compilers, just to enable people to start using open source, right?
So Boost units will coexist.
Boost units still coexist, right? It's a good product if you like it, right? But I think that this adds new values and new quality.
It's very interesting because in the next semester, so I teach C++ at UCL, and in the next term, we are actually asking students to evaluate Unix libraries as one of the homework exercises, and your library is one of them. So maybe I will have to just whittle it down to like 2 libraries, like Boost units and just units, MP units.
Yeah, please do. And this library is heavy on C++. It uses a lot of concepts. I think that Philip actually mentioned that they are using this as a unit test for their framework on concepts, because this is quite extreme. So yes, if you'd like to contribute as well, please let me know. I can walk you through the framework and provide some initial help in setting up things. But if you have problems setting up things, just use Gitpod. It's there, it's ready, and it's easy to contribute first lines.
Any more questions? Okay, then we call that a wrap.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.